everyone, my name's Carrie Corkamp, and I'm from Copper Point Church out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And after reading this book, A Tale of Three Kings, I thought it was so amazing and beneficial to my leadership. I have three key thoughts from it that I hope help you in your leadership as well. So, my first thought is that through the book, it explains David's life in every detail, how it led up to being king one day, and how all these little things that he did really prepared him for that. From taking care of sheep to singing songs of praises and loving and serving the Lord and fighting big enemies on a small scale or a big scale, it really did prepare him throughout his life. And it kind of showed me that in life we might be doing things that seem pointless or mundane right now, but I feel like God is definitely going to use those things one day in our lives and really just benefit us and rocket us up to where He wants us to be. And I feel that God is first looking for our obedience in the little things before He can give us the big things. God was really working on David's character during this time, and I think without that, David wouldn't have been who he was and what a great leader he was. And I think He does that in us as well. So my second point is how humble David was through everything. He, to his core in his heart, he served the Lord, and he was so humble in everything that was given to him or taken away. He knew that it was in God's hands and that God was controlling it. Even it explains in the book how Saul threw spear after spear at David, and never once did he try to pick it up or throw it back or even stand up against it, but he always stayed under God's authority and who God put in his life. And I think that is such an incredible thing to look at, because it could be so overlooked, especially reading through the Bible, because you're looking at the big stories that are in there and the big things that David did, but you don't look at how much he did serve Saul, no matter how awful Saul was to him. And I think that's an amazing message for us, is to always serve humbly and to never rise up against authority at all, because David never did. Even when David left the kingdom finally, he never brought anyone with him. It says he left alone. He did not try to make anyone leave the authority that Saul had placed, and that I think that is the most incredible thing ever, that he was just so humble that no matter what was coming against him, he was never going to push back if it was God's authority and God's will. And then my third point is kind of tied to that last one, but it's the question that's throughout the book: are you a King David or are you a King Saul? And of course, we all have that sin nature, that jealousy side, that evil side of us, the me side of King Saul. And it says in the book that the only way to get rid of it is that we have to destroy it. And it shows that God really took David and had to cut out that King Saul in him. And once he did that, he was changed. He was new. He was brand new in God's eyes and became an incredible leader from that. I think God is always constantly at work and constantly looking at our hearts and our condition. And I think sometimes we go through painful surgery when God grabs a hold of us. But I am so thankful He does that, because it means He's not keeping us the same, that He hasn't given up on us, and that God is constantly with us through every trial, every good and bad thing that comes. And it's really amazing to see that in David's life. Through every fight that he fought and every enemy that he faced, he always did it with a servant's heart. And that's all I have. So I hope those really help you, and thank you so much.